Hello everyone, I'm Sakshi Tiwari and I welcome you to our new lesson. Well, did you ever notice how the beauty pageant winners, the beauty queens like Sushmita Sen, Aishwarya Rai, Lara Datta, etc., they speak with such grace and confidence? Well, it's not just about how they say or the accent they have. I'm talking about the words they use. It's completely different to what we say. Yes, it sounds different to what we say. Their words feel calmer, more thoughtful, and they always leave a lasting impression. Well, let me tell you, they know how to sound classy without trying too hard. It's being, effortless, bringing that effortless elegance in their speech. And if you also want to add that effortless elegance to your own speech, well, a few simple language tricks can make all the difference. And today, we are going to dive exactly into the same. I'm very excited to welcome you to our new lesson, which is how to sound classy in English, where we'll be exploring 3 simple and powerful language tricks, where first trick will be focusing on graceful vocabulary, which means, choosing those refined and thoughtful words that soften your tone, and it makes your speech sound more relaxed, composed, and it makes you come across thoughtful person. Like, instead of saying angry, you could say displeased, right? Instead of saying employees, you could say professional. Of course, it sounds calmer, controlled, and of course it adds a touch of elegance to your language, right? The second trick that we'll be exploring will be euphemism, which are gentle and positive ways of expressing uncomfortable or harsh ideas. For instance, instead of saying fired, you're fired, or he was fired, you could say that he was asked to leave, or the company let him go. Instead of saying that she's fat, we could say that she's well built, which sounds, of course, much respectful. Instead of saying old age, we might say golden years, etc. Right? So euphemism allows you to communicate with kindness, grace, and social awareness, which is an important skill in both personal and professional setting. The third trick that we'll be exploring will be, knowing the elegant sentence starters, which are powerful and simple, phrases that help you begin your sentences with poise. For example, instead of simply saying that I agree, you could say that, you can say that that's a valid point. Or, instead of bluntly saying that I disagree, you can say that while I respect your view, or, I see where you're coming from, however, etc. Right? So these phrases soften your message. It makes you sound calm, mature, and of course confident, even when you're presenting a different opinion. Yes, so by combining these excellent 3 powerful techniques, graceful vocabulary, thoughtful euphemism, and elegant sentence starters, you will be able to express yourself with charm, confidence, and class. So, are you ready to elevate your speech? I hope you're saying yes. So let's get into each trick one by one. Yes, so the first trick is graceful vocabulary. Right? Now, I'm sure that you'll rarely find these women like Aishwarya, Sushmita, all these beauty pageant winners, Diya Mirza, you'll rarely find them sounding complaining. They would, rarely sound frustrated, agitated. And why? Well, because they understand that language is more than just words. It's a reflection of your state of mind, your emotions, and of course your personality. So when you choose softer, more polished words, you project a sense of, calm, control, refinement, and of course a mature personality of yours. So instead of reacting with frustration, they respond with composure. And how do they do that? They do it by using graceful vocabulary. Like, instead of calling somebody a man, right, they would of course replace this word with a gentleman, right? Gentleman, of course, is anyway used for a man who is full of poise and manners. So, let's replace this word, which is man, woman, say gentleman. For example, he always holds the door open for others, such a gentleman. Okay, rather, instead of saying woman, you must say lady. Hey lady, I really like your bag. She spoke with such elegance, such a nice lady she is. Right? Instead of saying boyfriend or girlfriend, you must, replace these words with companion. All right, of course, which adds a depth, of course, in your relationship as well. For example, they've been wonderful companions for years. They've been wonderful, he has been wonderful boyfriend or wonderful girlfriend, companion, right? Instead of saying employees, you must use this word, which is professional. Professional means skilled individuals, right? For example, our team of professionals is dedicated to delivering, let's say, top quality results. Yes, instead of saying teacher, which means an instructor, you must replace this word with an educator. I always call myself an educator, right? For example, as an experienced educator, I know how to conduct sessions for students, right? Now, for describing people, describing their characteristics, like, instead of saying polite, which is a fine word, you can replace it with a more graceful word, which is courteous, which means gracefully respectful. So he was courteous enough to apologize for the inconvenience. He was polite enough, okay, but let's make it sound classy. So we'll use this word. If somebody is charming, you can replace this word by, with this word, which is charismatic, right? Like, her charismatic presence made everyone feel welcomed and valued. If somebody is kind, we can, of course, replace this word with a classier and a more elegant word, which is compassionate, right? For example, that she's a compassionate lady, right? So she is a kind woman, she's a compassionate lady, right? She's compassionate enough to volunteer at the shelter every weekend. Yes, if somebody is brave, brave is a fine word, but we have to find a classier alternative. So we can, use the word which is valiant, which means bravely, noble, right? The valiant firefighter rescued the family from the burning house. Yes, if somebody is careful, you can replace this word with the classier alternative, which is prudent. Like, he took a prudent approach before investing his savings. Yes, for emotions and feelings like angry, let's forget this word and use this word, which is displeased, which means a calm disappointment. You're disappointed, you're upset, but calmly. You don't sound frustrated. Like, he seemed displeased with the sudden change in plans, but remained composed. Yes, you would never find these words using this word which is nervous. They would always use the word which is apprehensive, right? Which means worried yet cautious, that I am in control. For example, she felt apprehensive before her, debut in Bollywood, right? Satisfied, a fine word, but again, a classier alternative is content, which of course, denotes or showcases a calm fulfillment. For example, after a long day's work, I felt contented with what I had accomplished in the day. Yes, sad, a basic word which means you're feeling low, but a classier alternative is melancholy, which means a gentle sadness. There was a quiet melancholy in her voice as she spoke about her childhood memories. Happy, feeling, which means feeling joyful, but we'll replace it with the word which is delighted, which means joy but with charm. For example, she was delighted to see her friends surprise her on her birthday. Yes, some actions and behavioral vocabulary like good speaker. Never say you're a good speaker, she's a good speaker. We can replace it with the word which is articulate. Yes, which means fluent and expressive. She's an articulate presenter who keeps her audience engaged effortlessly. Accept, yes, which means to agree. We can replace it with this word which is embrace. You would always, find so many people using this word, embrace the change. He embraced the new idea with, delighted face. Yes, somebody who's bossy, let's avoid this word forever, like never use this word. It's a very harsh word. Instead we can say assertive. For example, her assertive leadership style ensured the project stayed on track, right? Instead of help, we can use the word facilitate, which means to make things easier. He facilitated the discussion by guiding the team through each step. Avoid, let's avoid this way, let's avoid that. Now, in place of that, we'll use the word which is refrain. For example, she refrained from making comments until everybody had spoken. Yes, so I hope you understand that choosing the right words can make a huge difference in how you come across, in how, your personality gets perceived to others. Instead of using basic or harsh words, pick softer words, pick, polished alternatives, which can instantly make you sound more thoughtful and a composed person. So words like displeased instead of angry, right? Words like melancholy instead of sad. You can of course use these words which can soften your tone and add a touch of elegance. And believe me, it's not about sounding fancy. It's about expressing yourself in a way that feels calm, confident and collected. You're not in a rush, you're not frustrated. Yes, additionally, when you're using these vocabulary, please ensure that do not sound restless or rushed, as I just mentioned. Speaking too fast can make even elegant words lose their impact. So, I'm sure you must have heard Sushmita Sen speaking. What do I say? That lady brings so much poise in, what she says. Of course, she uses these vocabulary, but at the same time, her delivery is just so much on point. She's never in rush. She would take her time to communicate, to speak what she wants to, right? Additionally, when you are using graceful vocabulary, please avoid sounding robotic or rehearsed. Right? Graceful speech should feel natural and engaging. Not only this, but also try to, avoid overusing refined words to the point that it sounds forced or unnatural. Okay? Balance it out. Balance is the key. Yes? Great. So I hope you understand this trick number 1, which is using graceful vocabulary. The next trick for you is euphemism for polite expression. What is it? See, have you ever noticed how some people can deliver even the most uncomfortable news without sounding harsh, without sounding abrupt, without sounding rude? Well, that's the power of euphemism. Euphemism are the gentle words, thoughtful words that softens the impact of difficult conversations. Euphemism allows you to express uncomfortable truths in a way that feels more considerate, kind, respectful, and graceful. Yes, for example, if I were to give you an example, let's say if you're talking about body features, okay, if somebody's fat, how thoughtlessly we use this word, oh, she's fat, which means overweight. But, let's say if I replace this word with full-figured, it just brings the whole person in a very positive light. She's full-figured. Or maybe she's curvy. This is also a word that you can use. For example, she's a confident, full-figured woman who carries herself beautifully or elegantly, right? If somebody is short, let's avoid this word, please, which means somebody who's below average height. We can replace this word with petite, which means small, of course, yet charming. Yes, like her petite frame gives her a youthful charm. If somebody's thin, don't say that. Don't say, oh, you're so thin. Say, I really like the slim body, the slender body that you have. For example, he maintained a slender figure through regular yoga. Yes, if somebody has any of the, facial features which are big, like big nose. So don't say that. Say, you have, I really appreciate the prominent nose that you have, which means a well-defined nose. You can also say well-defined, like his prominent nose gave his face a striking character. Yes, if somebody's big, don't say, oh, you're so big. Don't say that. Say you're well-built, right? Which means somebody has a strong, sturdy physique. He's a well-built, gentleman with a powerful presence on the field. Yes, never use this word which is poor. Try to always say humble background. She's poor? No, she comes from a humble background. She rose from a humble background to achieve great success. Poor is a really harsh word. Handicapped, never use this word. Always replace it with specially abled, right? Because we believe that, see, if somebody is, visually impaired, speech impaired, I'm sure they have the other, abilities which are way stronger than the ones that they, struggle with. Right? For example, that I encountered a specially able person while coming back to my home. Old, she's an old woman, he's an old man, she is a senior lady, right? Seniors are given priority seating in this area. Seniors, not old. Yes? Wrinkles, never use this word. Say fine lines. I'm sure you must have heard this phrase a lot in TVs and, other shows. Like she embraces her fine lines as a sign of wisdom or experience. Yes, died, a harsh word, very harsh word. You can say passed away. It's a gentle term for death. Like he passed away peacefully, surrounded by loved ones. Yes, if you talk about some style and fashion, what can be some euphemism? So let's say that, I want to say, oh, it's really cheap. Where did you get it from? Only $100? No, don't say cheap. Say budget friendly, which means affordable yet reasonable quality. Yes, like the store offers budget-friendly options without compromising on style, right? We very casually use this word which is fake. Oh, you're carrying a fake bag. It's not, it's not this. It's not from this brand. Never say that. Always replace it with a, politer alternative which is inspired by. Like her outfit is inspired by, let's say runway trends. If somebody is wearing something which is revealing, never say revealing, always say, oh, I really like the bold dress that you're wearing today, right? She wore a bold dress that turned heads at the event. Yes, so don't say revealing. Say bold, just convert it positively. If something is second hand, which means, a clothing or an item is already used, don't say second hand, say upcycle, which means creatively redesigned from pre-owned pieces, or, it's just, we're just thrifting it up, right? For example, this jacket is upcycled from vintage fabrics. Yes. Oh, it's really old-fashioned. I don't like it. A really harsh sentence. You must say that, oh, it's traditional and it looks unique. Even if you want to, criticize or just pass the comment, right? The next category is employment and career. I'm sure you must have heard this word a lot. Weakness. Oh, your presentation had so many weaknesses. Now, when we listen to this word weakness, it comes across as a personal attack. Rather, replace this word with this phrase, which is area of improvement, which shows that there is a skill, a trait, which is under development, right? Like my area of improvement is management and I'm working to improve it. Yes, she's in a low-paying job, very harsh, You must say that she's, in an entry-level position or at an entry-level position, right? Which specifies that she's in a starting point in her career. Yes, rather than saying resigned, which means that you left a job voluntarily, it's a formal word. You can, of course, sound classier, more respectful, and, of course, more considerate by replacing this word resigned with pursuing other opportunities. Yes, for example, she resigned yesterday. You must say that, oh, she's going to pursue some other opportunities, right? Rather than saying he's unemployed, it's a harsh, it's like, catching that weak nerve. So don't say that. Say, oh, he's between jobs, which means he's temporarily out of work. All right. Never, ever, ever say this word, which is fired. You're fired. No, don't say that. Always, use a politer alternative, which is the company let go him or he was asked to leave. Right. He was let go due to company restructuring, etc. Right. So see, that's how we use euphemism, right? So this is how we use euphemism in our speech to sound calmer, politer, considerate. Yes, using euphemism is a powerful way to communicate with kindness, respect, and grace. By choosing softer and more thoughtful words, you can express difficult ideas without sounding harsh or insensitive to others. Yes, so whether you're describing people, describing situation, or even your own experience, yes, these refined and politer alternatives can actually help you sound more polished and empathetic. Remember, the goal is not to hide the truth. I repeat it. It's not to hide the truth, but to present it in a way that feels gentle and considerate. With this comes our third trick, which is using the elegant sentence starters. See, starting a sentence well can change the entire vibe of a conversation. Do you agree or not? Yes, instead of jumping straight to the point, adding a thoughtful opening can make you sound calm, confident, and most importantly, approachable. And, it not only softens your tone, but also make people more receptive to what you are going to say. Like, let's say when you're expressing opinions, you must, use these sentence starters that I'm going to tell you to confidently share your thoughts without sounding forceful. And how they help is they help you sound thoughtful and composed. Like you can say, in my view, right, from my perspective, yes, I tend to believe that, and then you continue. It seems to me that, right, if I share my thoughts, and then you continue, right? For example, we can say that in my view, I think, effective communication is key to building strong relationship, etc. Right? So whenever you are sharing your opinion, you can use these sentence starters. Of course, it will make people welcome your thoughts in a more positive way. Yes. Now, when you're agreeing, there is one way, I agree, and then there is other way, which is agreeing even politely. Now, these phrases allow you to express agreement while sounding supportive and positive. For example, I completely agree with you, and then you continue. That's a valid point that you mentioned about the, excessive usage of the device. You're absolutely right about it. Yes, I couldn't agree more, with you as you mentioned the details. I share your perspective on the point that you made about the technical usage, right? So you can use these sentence starters to agree even more politely. Like, that's a valid point. Investing in skill development is always worthwhile. So what it does is that it makes the listener become more open to what you're going to say. As we've talked about agreeing, we also have to keep in mind that we disagree politely. You must use some really great sentence starters when when you have different opinion, to not to sound dismissive or confrontational. For example, when there is a different point, you must start the sentence like, I understand your perspective, however, yes, that's an interesting thought, but this is my favorite. I always say, this is an interesting thought, but I see it differently. I see where you're coming from, yet, and then you continue. While I respect your view about it, and then you continue. I'd like to offer a different perspective here with all due respect, right? So I hope you're able to understand that how these sentence starters can change the whole conversation. I understand your point. However, I believe we should explore some other alternatives as well, right? Great. So see, we've talked about agreement, disagreement, and when you have to add some thoughts, some ideas, you can use some sentence starters which are perfect when you want to expand onto someone else's ideas. Like, oh, on that note, I would like to, and then you continue. If I may add, about the increasing climate change problems, building on to what you said, and then you continue. Well, that reminds me of the recent crash that happened. Another point to consider here is, and then you continue, right? On the note, we could also organize a brainstorming session, etc., right? So see, the best part about using all these sentence starters, sentence openers, is that they create space for conversation rather than shutting it down. And people always respond better when you ease into their thoughts rather than just blurting them out. Right? So with a little practice, these phrases will start to feel natural to you, and you will notice how much smoother your conversations become. Right? Excellent. I hope you understand that how you can sound graceful, elegant, classy by changing the vocabulary that you're using. Yes, and with this, we've come to the end of our lesson, where today we explored some simple yet powerful tricks to speak English with grace and confidence, from using refined vocabulary, graceful vocabulary, and polite euphemism to starting your sentences with elegance. These tricks can make a big difference in how you are going to express yourself. See, you must remember, it's not about sounding fancy, as I initially also mentioned. It's not at all about sounding fancy. It's about speaking in a way that feels calm, clear, and respectful, right? So try weaving these tips into your daily routine, in your daily conversation, daily speech. And I can assure you that, in no time you'll, notice how effortlessly your speech starts to shine, and people are going to compliment you, right? Also, let me know in the comment section some words or the trick that you loved the most, and the ones that you are going to apply definitely, right? I'll definitely respond to what you're going to share. So I'll see you in the next session. Till then, keep learning, keep growing. Happy learning.